Hey, welcome to the Next Step Podcast. This is episode 6. We're growing. Today we've got a brand new star, somebody that we really appreciate in the life of our church. This is Michelle Wilkinson.
How's it going?
Good to see you. So, Michelle, you've got quite a history. So tell us, you're actually from up in the Midwest, right?
Yes.
Canton, Ohio?
Canton, Ohio, Football Hall of Fame. If anybody's been there, if you watch football, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
That's awesome. So I love every year when they do the Professional Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
Yeah.
I love watching all those old guys that are getting inducted and the people that they thank and all that. But I'm sure on that week, everybody in town's like, we can't wait till they're finished with all this.
You want to leave. Yeah, that's a good time to take vacation.
I love
if you live there, you're just because.
So where would you vacation if you grew up in Cleveland? Where did you go?
I mean, we've always went to Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
So it's kind of nice that we're now closer. It's only a 4-hour drive versus a 12. So that's nice.
So do your parents live down here too?
No, I'm the only one that flew the coop.
So you would drive from Cleveland to Myrtle Beach. How long is that?
Well, Canton.
Oh, Canton,
Cleveland,
right.
Cleveland's an hour ahead, but it was a good 12-hour drive, and my dad would drive it at night. I got to sleep in the back seat. That was nice.
That's cool. Now you got to do the driving.
It's 4 hours.
But it's only 4 hours. You can handle it.
I can handle it.
Good deal. So tell us how you flew the coop from Canton to come south and when that happened, or tell us a little bit about growing up in Canton first, and then we'll talk about how you got down here.
I mean, I loved it. I mean, I miss my family, so that's kind of hard, especially holidays and things like that. Now that I've got a 3.5-year-old son, I wish he was closer to, grandparents and things like that. But it's funny because I always told my mom that I was going to live in the Carolinas someday at a young age.
Okay.
Just always liked it.
Yeah.
So here I am. I just kind of got the opportunity to move down. I had an aunt, uncle that already lived in Fayetteville, so I wanted to move down and be close to family just in case push came to shove. At that point, met my husband, Tony. Yeah. He started going to Chapel Hill for his MBA.
Okay.
Once he graduated, we landed in Charlotte, and I started real estate at that point because I didn't know where we were going to be. Didn't want to get my real estate license here, and we were moving to Atlanta or something. So it worked out. It was good.
That's awesome. So how long have you been married to Tony?
7 years.
Fantastic.
This year.
And you
7
have
years.
A baby?
Yep, 3.5
Not really a baby, a toddler now, right?
Yeah, crazy toddler. 3.5, Evan.
Evan, fantastic. Good deal. So there's nothing like it. So I don't know, we talked a little bit as we were walking in here. We have a 3-year-old grandson. His name is Blake. Hey, Blake, out there if you're watching. And that there's something unique about kids that were born during COVID. They spend so much time separated from others that when they get together now, there's a little social awkwardness about who's in charge and what's going to happen, that kind of stuff.
He runs the show, or he thinks he is.
I love it.
I mean, he'll tell you, I'm the boss. I'm like, oh, no, sir. No, sir. But, I mean, we were blessed. We had him a couple months right before COVID hit, and we were very blessed. We were able to do the baby dedication at church with him.
Right.
So
I'm glad that you were able to do that, too.
Yeah.
So what does Tony do?
He works at Wells Fargo.
Okay.
I don't understand it. He does a lot of coding, like AI stuff.
Yep.
It goes in one ear and out the other one, he tells me. I just go,
So you're in charge of bringing in the revenue for the family through real estate, and he's in charge of making sure it gets managed at the bank, right?
There we go. Yeah,
like
that works. That works.
So Dave Ramsey always says that in every family there's a spendthrift and there's a nerd. So in my family, and nerd is a bad language to use. They're the accountants. Andrew is kind of like our accountant. I'm the spendthrift. How about your family? Who's the spendthrift?
We both can be a little
spendy.
Okay.
All right.
Amazon gets us in trouble.
Oh, yeah. They definitely do, don't they? And they drop it on your door in the middle of the night or whatever.
Yeah. I'm like, I can be here in 12 hours? Sure.
That's cool.
Nobody needs stuff.
What attracted you to get into real estate? And how did
I've always been interested. When I was in, I want to say middle school, when you got to kind of do career shadow days, they were big on that. I was always interested in doing education and being a teacher. I wanted to do early education. And then real estate was my other second passion that I went out and shadowed a real estate agent. And it's just, I started to go to college to be a kindergarten teacher, and I kind of got a little discouraged with it. And then real estate just kind of fell in my lap. But I enjoy it. I just enjoy helping people find that next home or get them to their next chapter. So it's been very rewarding. I've met so many amazing people.
That's cool. So you're kind of, you thought you needed to do something along the traditional track, but really your heart was around helping people to move in the next place. And so that's very much a calling. There's a lot of people that think callings are just for preachers and missionaries and music directors, but callings to be real estate people is just as important. And don't you want to have an honest real estate person out there? So I'm sure that you need to contact Michelle if you're ready to
I'm
buy, sell, or
honest.
whatever.
I don't sugarcoat things, but I mean, part of it's being creative and what really happens behind the scenes, because there's just, you can sell, 50 homes. They're not all going to go the same. You've got to get very creative when things kind of get hairy.
Right.
So, and I'll do whatever I need to do for my clients. They do know that.
That's awesome. So you've really had several cycles, right?
Oh,
You had COVID cycle and everything is hot and crazy, and then now it's not really down in our area like it is in some areas of the country.
Right.
But it's definitely the interest rates have hit the real estate market, and people are less likely to buy and that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, it's slowing down a little bit, but I mean, the spring market picked right back up.
Right. Oh, good.
Yeah, so
Fantastic.
things are moving.
Well, they say that 100 to 200 people move into our greater Charlotte, Gaston area every day, right?
That's a lot of people.
And they got to have a place to live.
That's it. Everybody needs a roof over their head.
That's awesome. So tell me something about your job that just really helps you to, maybe a story or an illustration of how you've almost become a minister of real estate and helping a family go from not having a place to finding a place, and where you just, when you're walking away and the deal is closed and that kind of stuff, I really made a difference in that family's life.
I've got a good one, because I don't know what agent would have actually helped these folks. It was a referral from an acquaintance of mine, and they were moving, I want to say, from Tennessee.
Okay.
Yeah, Nashville area-ish. They were all over the place. They were looking down in York County. They were up in Mooresville. They were over here. They were down there, which I'll take it on. Being in the car for an hour between each showing doesn't bother me. You put it out, book Audible tape on, and you go. I think I blew through 4 books helping this family, which was fine. But he was talking to a couple other agents, and agents be like, well, I don't do that area. I don't do this area. And I'm like, come on, let's get in the car and go. Let's go.
Right.
Which that would have been more challenging for them, because they had to be here by January 1st.
Okay.
We were talking like in October.
Okay.
When you find that house, you're still anywhere from like 45 to 60 days out. Like, we were on a crunch, but I was like, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Where I don't think any other agent would really be like, well, that's too far of a drive for me.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck. Sorry.
Okay.
Whatever you need, let's go. But I mean, if it's honestly an area I don't know, I'm always honest where I don't, that's a little far out of my way. Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
But so you'll migrate between York and Lake Norman and here and maybe Kings Mountain.
Yep.
That's kind of your groove and where you are.
Yeah.
So tell us some more about this sale. And
It
what
went
happened
really
with them.
well. It really did. I mean, and it was hard too for them, because they couldn't drive, 7 hours to come look at a house.
Right.
So it was a lot of, thank goodness for technology, of doing like FaceTime stuff, but really being their eyes and ears and being honest about what they're seeing, because not everything comes up, in a FaceTime walkthrough or a virtual tour. You can't see it,
Right.
You can't feel the space either.
Mm-hmm.
So technology's great, but it's not all the way there yet.
Yeah. So you'll actually take some people on virtual visits
yeah.
through their houses and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because just like you said, we have 105 people moving here every day. They can't get on an airplane or drive down quickly. You
Right.
don't know where they're coming, and just going off, simple pictures online.
Yeah.
It's a little scary to purchase a house and never walk foot in it.
And so once you started, you kind of started with choices way up here, and you learned more about the family, and you knew they wanted this, but they didn't want that, and it became easier to find the house that they needed.
Yeah, I always have kind of that dream chat when we're getting to know each other of, tell me what you want,
Right.
What's your must-haves, what are your maybes, what's a deal breaker.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of starts narrowing it down where we're looking at homes, and it's like, well, I don't really like this space. I'm a visual person, so when we go through the first house, I'm like, pick it apart. You're not going to hurt my feelings. This isn't my personal home. What don't you like about it? Because I'm really going to know at that point, okay, well, you said X, Y, and Z on this home that you didn't like. This is kind of the same. Might want to scratch this, but
Cool.
yeah, it's fun.
And so you're able to finish that deal within 90 days?
Oh, yeah, we got them in.
Fantastic.
We got them in.
And you're driving, you said sometimes an hour from like York County to Lake Norman or somewhere like that?
It'd be like a good hour, and I'm like, okay, you ready? We'll stop for lunch, because he came the one time to look at quite a few things, but I mean, God love him, he'd be driving, through the night just to get here in the morning to go do a bunch of showings.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you said something interesting. So you like to listen to books on Audible,
Yeah.
right? Good deal. I do too, because it's kind of like windshield time, or whether you're running or working out, it's good to be able to kill two birds with one stone. Like, what's one of the last books you read that you'd share with people?
I'm reading one right now called The Measure.
Okay.
Very interesting. It just came out. I can't think of the author. Doing a book club with it, but
Okay.
everybody just wakes up one day and you have a box and there's a string in there, and either it tells you your lifespan. So it's interesting of, would you open the box? Would you want to know, or do you not want to know? And it's interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah. And the boxes, like, I hope they wrap it up where they came from or not, or maybe you don't, but like the rings, you cannot, like, they're what is that word? You can't break them or anything or burn them.
Intersected.
Indestructible.
Right,
That's the
indestructible.
word.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So like they have no clue where they came from. And like, as the book goes on, when you turn 21, your box shows up.
Okay.
So
That is interesting.
It's really neat. Like, it was a lot different than what I thought it was going to be, but I've really enjoyed it. So I've got 30 minutes to go.
Okay.
So I'll
So
probably
I'll look
finish
forward
it
to
up.
hearing about the ending of that.
Yes.
So it's kind of like Ancestry.com. I haven't done that yet. I've had an opportunity to do some genealogical research, but you can spit in the tube and you send it off to them, and they do like a DNA study of you and your family, not only where you're from, but how long you're going to live and what you're probably going to die from and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if I want to know that either.
Yeah, I don't need to know that. Like, I don't know. It's weird, you know.
So it's about today for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
Good deal. So we had an interesting conversation about the first time that you came to our church, or sometime in that first season. One of the things that caused you to feel at home or rooted here was that we gave away a little book by Andy Stanley, How Good is Good Enough.
Yes.
Right. So tell us a little bit about that, and what was that like for you? How did that help you?
I think that was like the third book I'd gotten, and it was pretty neat because I don't know where we were going, but we were going somewhere on vacation on the airplane. I was like, oh, this is a pretty small book. This will be a good read for, the time we're down there. Well, finished it on the plane. I think the plane ride was maybe 3 hours, if that.
Yeah.
And it was very bizarre because when I sat down, I think it was my husband window seat. I was in the middle, and then there was a lady next to me.
Okay.
And when I sat down, I just kind of got this feeling I needed to give this book when I was done with it to the lady catty corner behind me. And I'm like,
not the lady beside you, but the one behind you.
And I'm
wow.
like, weird.
That's interesting.
And I'm like, I just kind of, okay. Finish the book. And the lady next to me is reading a book.
Okay.
So there goes me. No, I'm going to do it my way. That's so awkward. I'm not asking, hey, this lady's a stranger, but at least, we've said, excuse me, when we had to get up and use the restroom or whatnot. Right. I've had more interaction with this lady than back there. I'm like, I'm not doing that. That's awkward. And I learned my lesson real quick because as we were getting our luggage, I looked at the lady next to me and I said, hey, I noticed you were reading a book. And I said, when I read a book, I like to finish it and pass it off. Would you be interested? And she saw the title and was like, very disgruntled. I don't want that. And I was like,
really? Interesting.
ooh, okay.
Rude?
And again, right then and there, give it to who I told you to give it to.
Wow.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, this is awkward again, but I'm going to do it. So I just very quickly looked at the lady and said, I just finished this book. I'm like, I don't know if it's even anything you'd want, but I'd like to pass it on. And I showed her the title, and I don't know what was going on in her world, and I never will, and that's okay. She looked at the title and said, oh my gosh, I would love to, and held it up to her chest. And that was the moment that I was just like, wow, what was that?
Yeah.
That was cool.
So I like to tell people there is a Holy Spirit. In that prompting, we listen to Him and we follow through. And very often it is awkward. It's kind of like,
you're like,
I don't
what?
want to do that. What are they going to think? And at least this other person
I'm
I've
gonna
been
look
talking to.
crazy. Oh well,
Well, but you learn to pay attention to things like that
Yes,
little
and it-
voice inside.
And it was neat because, you just don't know what somebody's going through.
Yeah.
You don't know why in that moment she needed to have that book.
Yeah.
So that was pretty neat.
So you're from Canton, Ohio. You've got Tony and you've got Evan.
Yep.
You've got this business that's thriving. Been here for 12 years. You're willing to go hours on end to help people find the right house and that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
You're the person that reads a book on the plane and shares it with somebody that God has inspired you to give it to as well. You also told me an interesting story about something that just happened to you about finding something at the beach. Tell us that story.
Sure did.
Oh, good.
And I want to read it verbatim too because there's so many different scriptures. But my sister and I, since we've been going to Myrtle Beach, you can find shark's teeth down there. That is just our quiet moment, our nice time. You don't think about anything else too much. And this trip was very interesting because it was my first girls' trip away from my son. I've never been away from him in 3.5 years. I know I needed to. I was nervous, but I couldn't think of better women to be with besides my mom, my stepmom, and my sister. So I knew I was going to have that support.
Okay.
But I still felt really off while I was gone because you're just so used to being around your husband and your son. And I was just kind of lonely feeling. And I kept saying, why do I feel lonely? I'm here with my family. Like, it's okay. He's fine. So that afternoon, me, my sister, and my stepmom Joni were down looking for shark's teeth, and I wasn't really finding anything too much up in the loose. So I've got a shovel that I get down by the waves and kind of let the waves sift things down.
I like it. You call the loose area.
Yeah.
The loose. I like it.
Well, yeah, you look for like,
Little
where all the
things you're
broken
looking.
shells are. That's a good spot
the
to look.
loose.
But yeah,
Okay.
so I was just kind of down there digging, and I probably was looking for a good 15 minutes, and I'm like, it's kind of getting around lunchtime, and maybe I'll just go rally up the girls, and we'll go do that. And I just kind of did a couple more, and I'm just kind of sitting there looking, and it literally was not there, a couple seconds before. And that's right when I was like, all right, I'm done. And something just kind of glittered in my, out of my peripheral. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What's that? There enough, there was the ring in the sand.
Wow.
And I pick it up. And first I'm just like, whoa, I've never found anything like this in all the times I've been to a beach, any beach.
Yeah.
And, I'm kind of washing it off. And I'm looking at it. I was like, oh, something's written on here.
Okay.
And, at the beginning, and it's kind of cool because it moves.
Yeah. Okay.
But it says, where is it? Oh, it got upside down. All things, where is it? I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Wow.
Wow. So I thought that was pretty neat, and I instantly was looking around for where Joni and my sister were, and I went down, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe what I found. I was like, I don't even care about shark's tooth anymore. I was like, sis, you can have them all.
Yeah.
So we're just and my stepmom goes, well, look in the inside. Maybe somebody's name's in there. And I'm like, you're right. Let's do that. So I'm looking, and sure enough, inside it's what is it? Philippians 4:13. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And if you keep moving it, it says forgiven inside. It was just the coolest thing.
Wow.
It just happens to fit my finger
No kidding.
perfectly.
It's just like a God wink. Some people call those God winks or
Yes.
God moments, right?
Yes.
That's really
so
cool.
then fast forward, we end up going out to lunch, and there's a place called the Gay Dolphin that is,
Yeah.
it's a labyrinth in there. You will get lost. Well, there's a guy that has a shark's tooth store all the way in the back, and that's where my sister likes to go.
Right.
So we're walking around, and I've been there a million times, so I'm just kind of walking, and we're all the way down in the basement, and there's a cashier down there, a young man. And, he kind of just says, hi, how are you? And kind of seems shy, but you could kind of feel a vibe from him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, I don't need anything in here. I'm just going to go over here and just start chatting him up. And we started having a conversation. He was very shy at the beginning and was just like, well, I'm just not having that great of a day. And I said, well, can I share something with you? Something really cool that just happened. And I shared the whole ring story with him. And we just talked about a lot of stuff. And I said, are you doing all right? I don't know. And I said, well, can I give you a hug? And he goes, sure. And he kind of held me for a little while. And I just said, look, man,
Wow.
Jesus loves you. I love you. I said, it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. So moving forward with that, he goes, you're really easy to talk to. Can I call you sometime? And I said, sure, because I'm a bubbly person. I don't meet a stranger.
Yeah.
And I gave him my business card, and I said, I'm not trying to be cheesy, but this is my email. This is my cell phone. Later that night, he had texted me, and he said, hey, it's Steven. And he wrote about a paragraph on, thank you so much for just talking to me. I was a little shy saying anything, and you just don't know really what it means. And towards the end of him just saying, thanks so much for just being a ray of sunshine, he goes, I've never had a perfect stranger walk up to me and say that they loved me. And at the end of it, he goes, I was thinking about doing something I don't want to say. He goes, you saved my life.
Wow.
And that's just, it still makes me
Absolutely.
tear up every
Absolutely.
time. So we've been texting back and forth and stuff like that. And he,
Yeah.
it's just, you just don't know what somebody's going through.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool that you've learned to pay attention to the promptings of God's Spirit, whether it's about giving a book away or to go to have this conversation. And you got this ring constantly as a reminder. Maybe we can
Absolutely.
take pictures of this ring and put it in the show notes or something like that. Or
Absolutely.
maybe it's part of the edited video at the end, too. I'd love for people to see that.
Absolutely.
So you wear it as a constant reminder, and it fits you just, is it your ring or finger of your hand?
Yep. Perfect.
Wow.
And I like that. Like, it's cool that it moves because
Yeah.
I notice sometimes if I'm not sure about something or I'm thinking, I'll just find myself, and it's like, it is that reminder for me.
So it's a message that kind of moves like inside a bubble or something?
Yeah.
How cool is that?
It's pretty neat.
That's awesome. What did Tony think of that? I mean, you're willing to talk to perfect strangers and that kind of stuff. Does he ever go like, Michelle, you have just got to, I don't know, whatever. What do you think?
I'm definitely, the chitty chat one. I mean,
Yeah.
I've got the gift of gab. A lot of people in my family do, you know. I've never met a stranger really.
Yeah.
I have no problem striking up a conversation with somebody.
That's cool.
Or he's kind of more the quiet one, which is fine. Unless you get to know him, then he'll talk your ear off.
Right. That's cool.
Yeah.
So you've also done several things in the life of our church. I remember when you first came before COVID, and I got a chance to meet you then. We did do the baby dedication for Evan and that kind of thing. And then the world kind of, does what it did in 2020 and 2021. And so initially you were serving on the, what team did you serve on? Connection team, kind of welcoming people in?
I did, yeah. I was helping folks kind of find seats once the music and it kind of got dark in there. Did that for a little bit. Then I was a greeter for a while. And then just life got a little busy with a little person. So I kind of took a step back for a while. Then, of course, COVID happened. And then now just getting, back into church every Sunday and things like that. I just kind of felt, I think I'm ready to serve again. Like, I've got this. I've got some extra time. You just put it in your calendar and that's it. That's what you're doing Sunday, which works for me. And now that I just got to shadow last weekend the coffee station, which is a lot of fun because I worked at a cafe back when I was 18 and I loved it. So she did a really good job showing me what to do, but it kind of it's like riding a bicycle. Once you do a couple of them, it comes back to, comes back. But it's fun.
We're thrilled. Because here's what we really want to do is we want to help people find their place where they fit. Just like that ring fits you, that message fit at that time when you need to share it with him. We don't want to put people that are square pegs into round holes or people with round holes into octagonal holes or whatever. Yeah. We want to make sure that people are doing what they're gifted at doing. So you found that place beforehand. Yeah. You also make it a lifestyle and a calling to help people in what you do for a living, but also to have conversations with people that are random strangers and giving things to people like that. And so now also you've moved into this coffee kind of creating ministry. Tell us about what the day of training was like with Bailey and Brad and various people like that.
It was fun. And I know they were very appreciative because it was more so just shadowing, but I'm like, my gosh, no, I'm here. Put me to work. What do you need? Do you need this? Do you need that? Like, and she was even sweet, was like, well, after church, like, you don't have to stay back and help me clean up everything. I was like, no, I do.
Right.
What if you're not here a weekend? I need to know what to do at the closing. So I was
That's
like, no,
cool.
Put me to work, girl. Let's do this.
Yeah.
But it was fun. She was super helpful. Just the different coffee drinks that people can get, you could really see people were very excited about it.
Yeah.
And she's very passionate.
Uh-huh.
So that's nice too.
So coffee is like a barrier remover, right? Because people enjoy it. It's a way you can connect over a cup of coffee. And do you like this in it or that in it? Or how much of this do you want? Or do you want to just drink it black? Like my son, Alex, he's a deputy fire chief in Belmont. He's like, black coffee. That's all you need to drink. And,
that's
I'm a little different. I like to put cream and sugar and all that kind of stuff in there, or vanilla. And it kind of tells you something about the person's personality, too, about what kind of stuff they...
So I like it regular, but we don't do coffee too often.
Yeah. So what is regular? What is regular for you?
Just regular black coffee, that's it.
Oh, you like black coffee?
But now I'm a big tea drinker.
Okay.
It's just nicer on my stomach.
We're not talking sweet tea like in the South.
No,
we're talking like hot tea.
Yep, hot tea. Every morning, that's it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I talked to a friend of mine yesterday, and he said if you have hot tea in the morning, it can make you less dehydrated during the day. I don't know if that's true or not, but he said so anyway.
Makes sense.
Cool.
I guess. I don't know.
So what do you enjoy doing during your spare time? We know you like to serve in your job, with your family, and the greater community. I would actually say you kind of have the gift of evangelism, even though most people think of evangelism as being somebody that's giving a message and giving an invitation and preaching a message, but you kind of preach a message with your life. And your evangelism really just means sharing the good news of Christ with other people. And that's exactly what you've done. From the book you got, from the ring you found, from the way that you treat your customers and that kind of stuff, I would just affirm that in you, that you've got a real gift, and we thank you for sharing that with us.
Absolutely. I mean, even just the bags that we've made for folks in the homeless, like I finally got to give one out. I took 3.
Oh, cool.
And like, we're driving around, not seeing anybody. And I was like, oh, it'll happen. And finally I got to give one out the other day. And
tell us about that event.
The guy was awesome. Well, I was coming home in between a showing and coming back home, and I needed to go straight to jump on the highway while the gentleman was at a left. And I was like, oh, perfect. I'll jump in the left-hand lane, make a U-turn, make another left, and give him the handoff, and I'm back on my route.
So you met somebody standing by the street that was asking for help?
He was actually just sitting down.
Sitting down. He didn't have a sign up saying we'll work for food?
Nothing. Just was kind of sitting there in between the medium. And I just stopped and gotten beef jerky because I hadn't ate anything and I was starving, but I got 2 bags for some odd reason.
Okay.
And just pulled up and said, excuse me, I've got this. And he jumped right up and took it. And then at that point, too, I said, well, do you like beef jerky? Here, have this too. Because I figured, well, it's protein.
Yeah.
But he even said, thank you so much. God bless you. And I was like, God bless you,
Wow.
Happy to help.
That's cool. A lot of times, if you help somebody, they're kind of like, okay, thanks a lot for that. But he was really appreciative of that.
Very appreciative. I mean, even when I drove off, he's just looking at everything in the bag.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
So we're grateful for our church family for making that available. We spent probably $2,000 for the different elements that went in the bag, from crackers to the bags themselves to tissues. And we just constantly want to help people in our community in real practical ways. But it also gives you a chance to practice your gift of evangelism by sharing with other people.
Absolutely.
That you're the message, right?
It's just a good feeling that you're genuinely helping somebody out. That's all it is. You're being kind. Like, kindness just goes so much more further than people just not making that awkward eye contact when you're sitting at the light. It's just, I always have extra bottles of water in the car just in case. Like, hey, are you thirsty? Especially in the summer.
Yeah.
It gets hot down here.
So let's think about bag etiquette for now. There's a lot of people that are out there, and I've been one of them before, kind of like, yeah, we'll work for food, or they're cynical, or they just want my money, or whatever. And you have to kind of fight that battle. If you're like you are, your nature is to give, strike up a conversation, and help just kind of spread those seeds out there. There's some people that are kind of like, well, yeah, they just need a good job, and they just want my money or whatever. But you've taken the initiative instead to say, I'm going to take that as a prompting that I want to help them. Even the fact, so you said again, you bought another bag of beef jerky, and you don't normally do that, but you did this time.
I didn't know if I wanted the spicy or the regular.
Okay. That's really cool. And then you ended up taking that prompting of doing that. So even when we shop or we buy something, we can actually use that for God's glory.
Yeah.
You're finding something, you're selling something, you're getting something from church to share to somebody. I mean, that's just an incredible exercise of your giftedness. And that's what it's all about for us. This whole time of spending time together with people that are out there is that we want to lead people to take their next step on their journey with Jesus.
Yeah.
By loving Jesus and becoming like Jesus and sharing Jesus with others.
Absolutely.
And so you did all three, and all of those different kind of interactions that you just shared with us. That you practice your giftedness with people.
I mean, just do what you can every single day.
Right.
Lord, what do you want me to do? Okay.
Right. That's cool. So tell us a little bit about I'm Tony. What does Tony do for a living? Where's Evan and do you guys share?
You were asking what we like to do for fun.
Yeah.
We're big in traveling.
Good.
So we were planning on doing a Germany trip because I want to take my dad. I think we're pushing that off till next year because I don't know how a 3.5-year-old's going to do on that long of a flight.
Yeah.
Going there, I'm not worried because it's a night flight. Coming back, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to watch Cars that many times in a row.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know. Oh, because our last trip we came home, the flight wasn't that long, but he was done. He was done, and it was interesting.
Yeah.
I think we had like the Berenstein Bears book, Too Much Vacation.
Yep.
I think that was up us at that leg, but we're leaving out of town this week. It's an hour flight. He'll do fine. He's excited to go to the airplane, airport and hang out at the airplane, and it'll be fine. But long treks. I mean, we got his passport right before COVID happened too. Like, we were ready to go, but now it's kind of like, it's not our plan. It's kind of his little plan some days.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Because you got to kind of go with where your kids are feeling, and if they're sick, you got to do one thing that's different than you thought it was going to be today.
Yeah.
I love what somebody shared with me today, that if you want God to laugh, tell him your plans.
Oh yeah.
Right. And so even while you plan certain things, you've taken these unplanned events to make a difference in the lives of other people. That's awesome. All right, so let me kind of throw some things out here to you.
Okay.
Get your response. Just off the cuff kind of question. So these are choices. You're kind of in the hot seat here. So chicken or fish?
Chicken.
Favorite ice cream from Handel's?
Oh, hands down, mint chocolate chip.
Mint chocolate chip.
Oh yeah.
So if you were to go to Tony's, would you get mint chocolate chip too? Probably start with
Blue Moon if they have it, but that's an Ohio thing.
Blue Moon. What's Blue Moon?
I don't even know how to explain it.
Okay.
It is blue.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's an Ohio. Well, I think it's a northern thing.
Okay.
But
Blue Moon.
Yeah, nobody's ever heard of it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's
So vacations, beach or mountains?
Oh, beach all day.
Out of the country or in country?
Both.
Okay.
Fair enough.
That is fair enough. Place you most want to go to that you've not been to yet, overseas.
Switzerland.
Okay. Well, Germany's pretty close. If you can get to Germany, you can get to Switzerland pretty easily, right?
We'll see how it goes with that little person.
Place at home and domestically that you want to go to that you've never been.
I don't know. Utah, like somewhere out west. Like it's just
Okay.
the backdrop of Yellowstone. Can I go live in stay in that house for a couple days?
Yeah.
Like it's just beautiful.
Absolutely.
So, something like there. Like
Okay.
North Dakota, South Dakota, I'm in.
So favorite place overseas that you've been?
Italy.
Okay.
I can't wait to go back.
Which part? Because there's lots of different vibes in Italy. There's
We-
Rome, and then there's Milan, and
We did Venice, Florence, checked out the Leaning Tower of Pisa, did a day thing. That was wild.
okay.
You
afraid
get
you're
up
gonna
in
fall over,
you get
right?
up in there and walk around. It's bizarre because you're walking straight, but you're walking up steps.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre. And then when you get to the side that's leaning, like it's a little bit treacherous. And like
Yeah.
when you're up on the top,
Yeah.
it's a little scary.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was neat. Not
definitely
much,
memorable.
Not much to do in that little town, so it's a good little get on
Yeah.
the train and go. But then we did Rome, loved Rome, and then we did Sorrento, which was a nice little sleepy town.
Okay.
I loved it. I loved everything about it.
Excellent.
The food was amazing. People were great. The history is unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind
Can't
of like
wait.
a whole other world. America is, we have to keep remembering, we're like 250,
Oh, yeah.
200 years old, and there's places that have been around for thousands of years.
Because even in Rome, they keep digging up more and more stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's wild.
Yeah, it is. So do you watch this kind of shows, archaeological channels where they're digging up stuff? Or
No, not
you more like to be
necessarily.
there and let somebody tell you about it?
Yes. And
Okay, how
see
about
it.
domestically? Where do you like in America? Where's your favorite place, or one of your favorite places you've been to in America?
I love Ocracoke here in
Okay.
our own state. It takes a while to get to because you got to
Yeah.
take a ferry, but it's magical.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Several years ago, a couple of my friends, we went on a tour of the Outer Banks. What I didn't realize is that when you get about a mile or two off of the coast, it's as blue water as there is in the Caribbean, right? It's not just brown or black water. It's like blue stuff.
Well,
Was it not there for you?
not in Ocracoke. No,
Okay.
it's still kind of not. No,
Kind of
Ocracoke's
brackish?
not. Yeah.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
you're not seeing if you get in up to your knees, you're not seeing your feet.
Yeah. But there are places like in the Outer Banks where you can go and not the place in the north where the horses run, but the one in the south part where the horses run. It's just right above Bald Head and all those kinds of places. You drive out and it is as blue as Caribbean
So
water.
we haven't gotten that far.
Yeah, you ought to try that sometime. It'd
Definitely.
be really cool.
Because they've got Portsmouth,
Yeah.
which is neat. If you ever do go to Ocracoke, they've got like a little boat trip.
Okay.
And it's where there used to be a settlement there, and like a lot of the old stuff is still there. But
Really?
that's neat. But
Okay.
take bug spray.
Oh,
The
yeah.
mosquitoes have taken over.
Yeah. When I get to heaven, I'm going to ask God why there are mosquitoes. What did they do?
For frogs to eat? I don't know.
Maybe so. Maybe that's part of the food chain for frogs.
That's my thought process.
Good deal. Okay. Foreign car or American car?
I don't care.
You don't care as long as
Just
it
get me
gets
from
you-
point A to point B
right.
safely.
Favorite color car?
Oh, dark blue.
That's right.
The
There
ones
you
we
go.
have.
That's right. There we go. You pulled it up today. I said, good deal. She likes dark blue.
That's it.
That's cool. Evan's favorite movie?
Right now, Cars.
Cars. Okay.
Was Moana.
Okay.
Cute movies. I'm good.
Yeah. So Evan's favorite book?
Creepy underwear.
Okay. All right.
It's a cute book.
I got it. Good deal. The place that fast food place that you go to if you had to make your initial choice right now.
Jersey Mike's right
Jersey
now.
Mike's. Okay. All right. Good deal. So no Chick-fil-A for you, be Jersey Mike's.
Chick-fil-A is good, but
Okay. Second
Jersey
or third
Mike's,
choice?
I'm keeping them in business. I
Okay.
mean, definitely.
Tavern or fancy restaurant?
Fancy.
Okay.
We never get out anymore.
Okay. French or British cooking? Or Italian?
I'd go with Italian.
Okay.
But if I had to pick between those two, French.
Okay.
I don't like. I can't. British breakfasts are not for me.
Walking or running?
Walking.
Okay. Day or night? Day person or night person?
I'm a night owl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal. That's cool. Well, you've got so much to share in your life, and we're going to be sharing this online with people. And meet Michelle. Great to
You
have
see me,
you
say
with us
hi.
today. And if you need a realtor, I'm sure she would certainly take your business?
Happy to help anybody.
If you'd be glad to help you out. I think that's really encouraging that you primarily look through the lens of your business. You obviously got to make a living and you got to make money, but the more you help people, the more you really make a life, and it makes living easier rather than, okay, I got to get up and grind through this job again today, right?
But I mean, I feel like gift giving and stuff like that's like my love language with people. Because I mean, I tell my clients when we close on a house, I'm like, oh, you're not done with me. Like, I don't go away. You know that, right? Like, I do fun events like right around Easter. This is the second year I've done it. I hired an Easter bunny, and I invite people over to my house.
Cool.
You know, and I'll have some snacks, some foods and stuff like that, just for people to bring their animals or kids, or if, you know, you don't have either of those, still come. Get a picture with the Easter bunny.
That's cool.
Everybody's still a kid at heart.
Yeah.
So I've done that twice, and it's just things like that. Or my neighborhood, I'll do like a snow cone truck at my house and just invite the whole neighborhood. Come, it's free. You know, come hang out.
That's
just
awesome.
things like that. I just like loving on people. I like being around people and just doing stuff for the community.
Yeah.
You know, you have a lot more fun getting to know people doing stuff like that.
So you've really taken what God has taught us to do and you put it to life. Do you have, other than Philippians 4:13, or maybe it still is a favorite Bible verse that is something that really means a lot to you?
I love the Corinthians one, like love is patient, love is kind, even though Lord knows I need to work on that.
Yeah.
All, you know, the patience part. Oh, yeah.
That's
We're working on that.
Oh, well, it's who doesn't, right?
Yeah.
I think we're all still working on that.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody said, don't ever pray for patience because all you'll get is a hassle, so you'll develop patience, right?
Yes.
Wow. Well, you've made love come alive in the lives of so many people in very practical ways. And just thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for letting me share that story because, I mean, it's near and dear to my heart. It's just, that's not a coincidence.
That really is
at
cool.
all.
I think what we're going to do is we're going to get you to take off your ring, and we're going to do a video of your ring kind of inside and out so we can show people.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be awesome. Well, thanks again,
Yep,
Michelle, for
thank you
coming.
for having me.
Tell Tony hello.
I sure will.
And look forward to seeing Evan at church. And look for her at the coffee bar because she might be there mixing up your magical drink for Sunday morning.
Yep. Let me know what you want.
Good deal. Thanks a lot. You guys have a great day. We'll see you next time for the Next Step Podcast, episode number 8. See you then.